what's up? Check out this blunt and honest review from the Jock and Nerd Podcast. That's us. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the jock.
He's the nerd.
And he's the rug boy.
What's up, guys?
Jock and Nerd. Okay, we're here. Let's do it. Joker, Folie, Deux review. Here's your spoilers.
Strap yourselves in, you fucks. Spoiler time.
The highly anticipated sequel to 2019's Joker. This is curiously
highly anticipated, really.
Highly anticipated. I think it was up until it actually came out. A lot of people were had this high on their list. It was going to be something special.
I don't know. I don't think the box office agrees with you. But
I'm
right.
saying it was highly anticipated until it actually came out and word got around. This is curiously, of course, got to mention, you saw it in the beginning. It's a Warner Brothers picture. There's no DC Studios logo. And James Gunn on Twitter recently has made that very clear by answering questions saying it's not a DC Studios movie. And then I also remembered Warner Brothers wanted to start this DC Black series with this movie.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's racist, first of all. Second of all, I don't think it's happening.
I would like to see that.
Because I think they have a comic book, like an adult DC Black.
Oh, yeah. You see Batman's Pete?
Yeah, right? We saw Batman's penis in that. So anyways, on Rotten Tomatoes, the first Joker, critic score 68%, audience score 89%. Joker 2, not so good. 33% tomato meter critic score. What did the audience think? 31%. This has been dropping. So we're at a 33, 31. All right. It gets worse. Let's talk about the monies. The first movie was made for $50 million. The budget for this movie has been reported to be $200 million. And I'll tell you what, we read that report. I remember Lady Gaga, she got paid $12 million to be in this movie.
So they used this movie to launder money,
And
basically.
I'm pretty sure Todd Phillips, Joaquin Phoenix got huge paychecks. So that's like $50 million right there, easily. Okay, so again, I have to compare this to the first movie. First Joker 2019 opening weekend opens to $96 million. And of course goes home with finishes at $1 billion. It's R-rated, $50 million movie, made $1 billion. What happened this time? Joker Folie Deux opening weekend, $37 million.
Oh, I thought it was going to be more than that.
Shit. Yeah, the projection started at 70 and then there were 60. And then actually the most recent projections were like 40 to 50 million and it comes in under. Currently worldwide, it's only made 118 million Jokers.
Wow, word of mouth must have been terrible.
The first Joker made $39 million on the Friday alone. This is how bad this is. This 37 million opening is lower than Morbius. It's lower than the Marvels. And it's lower than the Flash opening weekends.
Wow.
It's not good. It's not good.
Isn't it like the lowest rated
cinema score of D, which I've never really seen a movie get a D on the cinema score? Yes. Lowest rated comic book movie to date. All right. This one brought to you again by Todd Phillips, directed by Todd Phillips with a screenplay that he co-wrote with Scott Silver. So Todd Phillips also writing, starring, of course, Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. You got the Lady Gaga. What's her real name? I don't know.
Stephanie Germanotta.
Stephanie, that's it. You got Stephanie as Lee Quinzel. You got Brendan Gleeson as a prison guard, Jackie Sullivan. You got the great Catherine Keener playing Arthur Fleck's lawyer. Zazie Beetz comes back from the first movie for a quick cameo. You got Steve Coogan playing a TV interviewer, Patty Myers. And then you got, where is he? Where's Gary Puddles? Oh, the great Lee Gill returning as Gary Puddles. And you got a guy named Harry Lottie playing Harvey Dent. And there's some other people in there. Anthony.
Yes.
What happens in Joker Folie Deux? What do you do?
This movie
sorry, 2 hours, 18 minutes.
Thanks, Imran.
R-rated. It's fucking long. What happened?
Yes, it's a long movie. This movie is after the events of the first one, and Mr. Arthur Fleck, a.k.a. the Joker, is in jail, and he is or he's in Arkham, and he's going to trial, and the defense is resting their case that he was insane and has dual personalities, and thus should go and get help rather than be convicted of murder and be put to death. So this movie is a trial movie, and in the midst of this trial, Arthur meets a girl played by Lady Gaga, who entices him, and a budding romance ensues in this courtroom drama musical.
Yes, prison drama / courtroom procedural / musical.
Mm-hmm.
And there's, how many songs would you say are interspersed in this movie?
Oh, I don't know. Probably
6.
I think there's
12?
I think it's more. I think it's closer to 12.
Yeah,
12
I think there's a
or
lot of
13.
songs.
All right, so
I could Google it.
what'd you think of the first movie, real quick?
The first movie?
Yeah.
I think we reviewed it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it back then. I thought it was a good movie, a really good, unexpected character study. I mean, it is copying Kings of Comedy and Taxi Driver.
Sure.
But it's a well done impersonation of those movies. And Joaquin Phoenix, obviously, won Best Actor. He was an Oscar nominated. The movie was Oscar nominated. It was an unexpected hit, and it really worked. And I really enjoyed it.
All right, and what did you think after this movie ended this time around?
I'll tell you what. So the one of the reviews I saw, I don't know if it was on, I don't know who said it. It was either on Letterboxd or on TV once. It might have been Critical Drinker. I don't know who said it, but I'm stealing it.
Okay.
And the review basically said Todd Phillips. The movie is, it's one of those things where the kid in class who aced the test, but copied every answer from another student.
Yeah.
But has now convinced himself that he's actually smart.
Yeah.
And can do the test on his own. That's what this movie is.
That's what he did here. It's pretty good.
That's what this movie is.
It's very interesting.
I never checked my phone so many times in a movie.
Oh my
God. I had with this one. And luckily I was in the back row, so I didn't feel bad about just pulling my phone out and looking at it real quick. Because normally that's an asshole move, but no one else was by me, so I was in the back. Yeah, I mean, here's the one thing I'll say. Todd Phillips, I always got to respect when a director or creatives take a swing.
Sure.
And they took a big swing with this musical thing. It's a swing and a miss, in my opinion. I've never been so bored during a movie like I was with this one. I mean, nothing happens.
Yeah.
Nothing is happening. And they go into these bits with the musicals, and Lady Gaga can sing, and there's some nice songs, but I don't really understand what it's all for. Like, there's no reason really why they're singing. They're not even incorporating the music creatively. There's no Arthur grew up loving musicals or something like that. It's just songs for the sake of songs.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make any sense based on the first movie had this momentum where you were riveted by the character and you were seeing a descent in the madness. This one, it seems like Arthur Fleck has reverted back to being just a dweeb.
Yeah.
And then he's getting manipulated by Harley Quinn, and they're going into song, and it's just entirely too long. There's nothing. The whole trial is just rehashing stuff that we saw in the first movie. There's really no forward momentum. Yeah, it's just boring. I mean, it's a huge miss in my opinion. And worst of all is I don't even think it's a good Joker movie. I don't even know if this by the end of the movie I was actually kind of pissed off with the ending. And this doesn't seem like the Joker at all.
Yeah.
At least in the last movie, it ends and you go, he's turned into the Joker.
He's the Joker. He's embracing the Joker.
And this one now, he's
what happened?
Clearly getting manipulated, which not at all what the Joker would be. And then the movie ends. I mean, spoiler, but it's even questionable if he's even the Joker by the end. I mean, we'll get into that later, but they're just, what a mess. It looks good, but what a mess.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
my initial
That's a pretty
thoughts.
good way to sum it up. Looks good. What a mess. Ruggs, what'd you think? What happened here?
I feel like there's a lot here on the table, right? So you got great acting.
Yeah.
You got great cinematography. You got just the sets look great. Everything looks grimy and gross, and it feels like it has a lived-in thing. You have the musical performances that are well done, and there's iconic shots in them, but it doesn't amount to a good movie.
Yeah.
And you'd think it would, but I think that the script is just very weak because not in what transpires and what's said, even though the characters could have had a lot more to do, especially Lady Gaga.
Yeah.
It just doesn't build to anything. The story arc is just so basically the story arc is the Joker's on trial. And at a certain point, like the big thing that happens is that he becomes his own lawyer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And nothing really comes of that.
No.
Nothing really comes of anything. In fact, Anthony hit it right on the head. The character's regressed. So he went from being this person who was constantly getting his shit kicked out of him and life, like just
forgot him.
Forgot him. He was just completely overlooked by everyone. And then he finally starts to take agency over himself and becomes a chaos agent, a catalyst. And you'd think that while he was in prison, like he would be a celebrity in there.
Yeah.
Like he would be fucking.
He kind of was, but he wasn't. Yeah.
But no, I just think that it all kind of. And I know, like, this is what happens when responsible filmmaking happens. When you're like, we can't glorify the Joker. He's a bad person. But guess what? I hate to say it and sound like an asshole, but that's what I want to fucking see when I see the Joker.
Yeah.
I'm going to see a fucking maniac.
Yeah.
I'm going to see his descent into madness. Don't call it Joker. That's not Joker is a thing that is so unpredictable and so crazy and still manages to always put one over on Batman. Like the smartest guy who's fucking prepared his whole life to fucking take people like, and the Joker's always outsmarting him and causing him a moral quandary because the only way to stop him is to kill him and Batman won't kill him.
Right.
So what is the Joker then? What is anything? Do we just call things Joker and not actually get there? He killed a couple of people in the first movie where it's like, okay, he got his revenge. Like, and they were actually, most of these kills were like just right. They deserved it. Like his mother was a piece of shit.
Yep.
Everybody's a piece of shit in those movies. So in that movie, so he's not even bad. Like he's not even like unequivocally bad.
Yeah.
Like he still has, his kills still have some kind of karmic merit.
What you described, with the Joker you described, that's not Arthur Fleck. That's not. I
think that's the point that they're making at the end of this movie.
Yeah, he's an idea.
He's just the idea that creates the actual Joker.
Yeah.
Or it's the idea that just gets passed along. So
yeah, it becomes an urban
they're
myth.
going. Yeah, it's like this urban, like this Joker gets passed along from person to person because it's like an infection,
right?
I hate that.
No, I don't like it.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that. I hate that. I think there's one Joker and there's one Batman, and then that's it. That's the way it should be. You can't have an iconic character that's derived from another character. That weakens it. Right. So let's say in the future, like in The Dark Knight Returns, there's a gang of mutants that call themselves the Joker in the style of the Joker.
Right.
Okay, that works. That's the legacy there. Or the sons of the Batman.
Right.
Who take on Batman's fucking thing. Or the Robins that take on but you can't have like, oh, the impetus for the real Joker is some fucking lame ass Joker that was locked up in an asylum somewhere. Like that shot a guy on TV once. I don't know. I think that weakens everything. But see, at the end of the first movie, I didn't know we were going to go nowhere. I thought we were going to get there, maybe. I don't know, to a place where like this is the Joker that we all know.
Mm-hmm.
So it didn't get there, and that kind of sullies that last movie. And that last movie was it had a great performance, it had a great story. There's tension throughout the whole thing, and I don't know. I feel like this one, I don't think it's the worst movie ever made. I just think it was a little boring.
Yep.
I mean, so there's a number of things, like why this movie was made to begin with. The first one was supposed to be standalone, but then they saw the monies come in, and now you'd be stupid not to greenlight a second movie, but the movie is entirely unnecessary. My opening thoughts, I agree with everything you guys just said. It is absolutely a risky, ambitious thing that fails on execution. It has great cinematography. The performances are good. The story lets them down. I love musicals, and this just didn't work for me. Like, it's unfocused, disjointed. The music doesn't fit.
Unfocused is a good way to point it.
It does not add anything. And I love the supporting cast. Like, all that cast was great. But when this movie ended, the first thought popped into my head was like, that was a waste of 2 hours and $200 million. Like,
Absolutely.
What did I just fucking watch? It's not a Joker movie. It's an Arthur Fleck movie. They recap the first movie so many times. It's ridiculous. So I was frustrated. I was a little confused, and we'll get to the ending where you're like, what is actually going on? But it kind of seems like Todd Phillips didn't bother him so much that there was like a small group of people saying, oh, you made a movie for incels. The fact that small group of people made Joker to be a folk hero. It bothered him so much that he's like, fuck you, I'm going to troll you.
They were so late on that. Like, people were fucking worshiping Heath Ledger as Joker.
That's true.
I've never seen so many people get tattoos of Heath Ledger.
Absolutely.
Like, Heath Ledger's being his Joker, in all intents and purposes, is a terrorist.
Yeah.
This guy just killed a couple people.
Yeah, this guy's like not nearly
the amount of not nearly as destructive or as much of a chaos agent as. And so no one, I guess, because he's dead, I guess they can't continuing making that character.
So here's the other thing I read. Todd Phillips was given complete final cut creative control. There is no executive studio interference. This is exactly the movie he wanted to make.
This is somebody who's got no balls. That's all I'm saying.
Is he trolling? I felt like he's trolling the audience. He's trolling the studios. I don't get the joke. I don't feel like I'm in on it. He's also tanked sequels before. Let's not forget Hangover, amazing movie. Hangover 2 or 3, not so great.
No.
There's kind of a pattern. He's a great filmmaker, clearly.
Oh, I don't know if he's a great filmmaker.
I mean, he's good. He's good.
He's got potential. Yeah. I just don't know. He's good at creating moments, but I don't think he's got good. He was involved with the script. I think that's where it went wrong.
Yes. The story is fucking doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys are saying. Obviously, we're all in agreement. I think for me, the unfocused thing is a good way to describe it. The movie, I won't say it's not one of the worst movies of all time in terms of superhero stuff, because everything is actually well done in terms of what you're seeing on screen.
Yep.
But I don't even understand. I get why. I get that he wanted to try something. Let's go with a musical. Okay, but this movie is just. It's just completely different than the first one.
Yeah.
So I don't even know who you're trying to satisfy. Because I mean, you make this musical and you're doing this whole trial thing with no forward momentum or anything. And it's just like, why? Like, who was this made for? I don't even know. Like, I don't know who would even like this.
Well, if you just take all the individual pieces, right? And you just say, is this the best musical you've ever seen? No. Is this the best courtroom drama you've ever seen? Is this the best jail movie that you've ever seen?
And it's like a love story. Is this the best
Joker movie that you've ever seen?
And the love story is weak also.
Yeah, it's the best love story. So nothing is working.
Yes.
Nothing is even working enough to carry this film. That's number one. And I think that the pieces don't fit together. So like I'm thinking of visualizing this. I'm sitting on the couch, right? And then somebody walks into the room while I have this movie on and as they walk into the room, they might be like, hey, this looks like a good movie.
Yeah.
Like, maybe I should sit down and watch it.
Yeah.
And then they sit down and watch it. And then after they're like, oh, that was dumb.
Yeah.
It's so it has something to like the musical scenes might be enough to like draw you in. This, him being in jail and being like downtrodden and having that glimmer of hope with the girl might draw you in. Like, you don't know what, or maybe that scene where he's his own lawyer and he's in the Joker makeup or might draw you in.
Yeah.
But it doesn't culminate into a movie that is effective. It kind of is half-hearted and in its story, not in the other stuff. Like they go for it, but like they don't really commit to the story taking you. It's almost like it's an FU to the audience that's watching it.
Yeah, so I feel like, is it possible Todd Phillips at every point, he does not give you what he thinks you're expecting? It's very weird. Did he purposely, intentionally make a shitty movie?
Oh, yeah. He thought that was going to be a good experience for someone to be watching.
Yes, he thought this is artsy. He thought this is elevated, maybe. But I don't know that it is.
I don't know. If you're going to make people pay money to see you for a movie for almost 3 hours, like, I don't even know how long this movie is. Felt like it was a million hours.
So there's this great article that Hollywood Reporter just put out. It's called "Why No One Will Get Fired Over Joker, Folie, Deux." The last line in terms of who's this movie for, when they asked someone who the intended audience was, one outside source sums it up this way: for Joaquin. Was this movie just for Joaquin Phoenix? I don't know. Look, let's break down some of these beats. I want to go through some of the things that happened, starting with the Looney Tunes inspired animated opening, which was unexpected. I thought it was kind of fun.
It's an allegory for the rest of the film.
Yes, Joker is wrestling with his shadow. His shadow takes his place, and the Joker gets the blame.
I liked it.
That's kind of a theme, but like the theme was kind of picked up throughout the thing. I thought it was clever in terms of the old Looney Tunes cartoons. And then we find out Arthur's been in prison for a couple of years. We see him palling around with the guards. There's some moments of like with the umbrellas and the colors that like it's going in and out of his imagination. The guards seem to like him, but they also give him shit. They always want to hear a joke. And that leads us to when he meets Lee at music therapy, and she does the old handgun shoot to the head, exactly like Zazie Beetz Sophie did in the first movie. They also mentioned this made-for-TV movie constantly that they have made in the 2 years. And I was wondering, is he referencing the first movie in this universe? Like, that's the movie? That's kind of what I thought, but it was very weird. We get to the scene where she starts the fire. They're watching a movie. They get outside. There's some singing. There's some dancing. There are times where the songs are kind of displaying the emotions in his head. Like, after he meets Lee, he imagines singing For Once in My Life, I Have Someone to Love Me, which was fun. And then they just cut to him standing there like he wasn't doing that. So then it gets weird. After the fire and the escape, Arthur gets thrown in solitary. Somehow Lee gets in the room to visit him. Weird. Right? How the fuck does that happen? And then they bang.
Yeah, that whole thing was very far-fetched, and the fact that Arthur just looked disgusting and she wanted to bang him like that.
He's been in solitary for God knows how long. He hasn't shaved.
It smells like his shit in there.
That whole thing, though, you're going to narrate the entire plot, aren't you, Imran?
No.
That's one of the things, too, where it's almost impossible that they would let her in there. Yeah. It's impossible, right?
Yeah.
And the movie's trying to do the thing it sort of did in the first one, where it's blurring the lines of, is this in his head or is this actually happening?
Right.
And I think the first movie does a really, really good job of that.
Yep.
Whereas this one, like, it's just, it doesn't do as good a job of that. It's like there's some of the scenes are very obvious in his head. Some aren't. There's scenes like this where you're like, what the fuck?
Some of them, and some of the music is in his head, and some of it they're actually singing, I guess. Like
right.
On the TV interview where he sings to her.
The whole just music thing is just, I just don't get. The only cue for the music is he meets her in the choir. But, like, I don't understand why the rest of the movie they're folding into music.
I don't know. It seems to be just filler and padding.
Well, I do think the fact that he has these visions or these dreams, these like lucid dreams while he's awake, and since he met her in that setting and the singing is what brought them together, I think that it's an expression of his happiness, but it's not used as effectively as it could have.
No,
visually, like he starts singing and there's whatever, but I think they could have done more with the visuals and actually told some story with it, or like gone somewhere with that. Like maybe like they see a future and then I don't know. It's just weird. I mean, there was some of that, but
I thought the musical scenes were just okay.
I agree.
When they're
not 200 million good.
No, when it's all black backgrounds, like, I told you I love musicals, and like those was better than some of the other parts, but even those parts, I feel like he wasn't entirely confident in how to shoot.
I wonder if they spent like $200 million in cigarettes.
Oh my God, this movie made me want to smoke cigarettes so much.
Me too.
Dude, when he's sitting there with that long ash in my head, I'm like, ash your fucking cigarette. Ash, what are you doing? It's so long. Will somebody ash that? Will you please ash the cigarette? It made my OCD go crazy.
There was a moment in the movie where I perked up and I went, oh, maybe it's getting good. And it's the scene where Ruggs mentioned where he takes over and becomes his own lawyer.
Yes.
But then that whole thing doesn't really pan into
There was nothing to that.
And when that happened, I was like, oh, now we're getting somewhere. So how we get there, there's a little bit about Lee where she tells him a lie about her past, that she grew up in the same neighborhood and her parents abused her. She burned her house down.
That's another thing, though. She's manipulating him,
Yes.
which is fine, I guess, because, you know, Harley's always been portrayed as just a toy of the Joker. But this is not the Joker. So this is still a pathetic guy.
And also she is a Joker fanboy, right? And I feel like she kind of represents that audience, the fanboy, fangirl audience. And she's in love with the Joker, not Arthur Fleck. We find out.
I don't know.
No,
I really don't. I don't see the first Joker as being a fanboy movie. I think the first Joker was a movie where we wanted to see the real Joker, and we got something else.
Yeah,
but we were like fine with it because it was so well done.
Right.
That Joker movie was not a Joker movie to me. It was a Scorsese film.
Right.
Yeah.
With the Joker face paint, with a Joker-like character.
Maybe the problem was he couldn't find any films to fucking rip off this time, and
but I just don't understand this. All of this stuff is so like all of this film criticism is lame.
Yeah,
it's fucking lame. I can't stand it when they go, well, you know, they were promoting a bad thing or whatever. Or the fanboys wanted to see the Joker, and then he didn't show it to them, and he's a genius. Go fuck yourself. All you did was rip off Scorsese and slap Joker in there, and that's it.
Yeah.
And it was fine because we haven't seen a Scorsese film like that in a while. Like, he's been making other kinds of films lately.
Yeah.
So it was cool to see that, but I don't know. I just feel like all of this posturing of like, should we make a Joker movie? Are the fanboys the problem? Get the fuck out of here. The fanboys are the people who pay the money. They're the people who show up. Give them the Joker.
Let him cook. No, they let him cook, and this is what he cooked up. I will agree. I think the best scene in the movie is Joker interviewing, questioning little Gary Puddles. That was great. I love that he puts on like a Southern drawl, like he's a simple Southern lawyer. And that whole Gary Puddles scene was probably the best scene.
That was a good scene. That was a good scene because
I think that's the best scene in the movie.
It is. It's easily the best scene.
You do feel for Puddles in that scene.
He's like, you were the only one.
But it doesn't really lead to anything. No, yes. Actually, no. What? Shut up. Actually, it does. Sorry, I'm lying. I mean, it does actually make Arthur realize that the Joker is kind of a bad persona for him to take on.
Oh yeah.
So he does kind of like realize through that scene, but it's not really executed all that well. And it doesn't give you, like Ruggs said, it doesn't actually give you what you want because it doesn't lead to him becoming the Joker. Right. It actually leads to him not becoming the Joker.
Yes. Well, that happens because after that part of the trial, I guess he gets raped and beaten, and then he hears the guard Jackie Sullivan strangle.
Where did you get the rape from?
I don't know.
What are you talking about?
People were saying it was implied, but all really we saw when he got dragged into the bathroom and they took his clothes off, they just beat him. I didn't think they raped him either.
Oh, I don't know.
But people are just throwing that in there. Like, I didn't see that. Did they say something? Is there a line?
No, some reviews and recaps of like that part where he got beaten and assumed to be raped.
I don't know.
I think he got beaten. I didn't think he got raped.
I think it's too questionable to even. It's not. If it's not apparent.
Yeah,
you gotta like dig for it. I don't know.
It was not. It wasn't. So I don't know. I think people are reading it. Anyways, he hears the other inmate get killed. He remembers the first movie, and then the next day, his closing argument is, "Oh, it was me. It was Arthur. There's no Joker," which pisses off the Gaga. Lee storms out of the courtroom. And this is where shit gets crazy as they're reading the verdict. This whole ending is wild. A fucking bomb goes off. And, okay, my first fucking issue with this is you have this Harvey Dent character who is very bland and generic.
Oh, yeah, that was another issue I had. He's such a charismatic character in the comics.
Yes, this guy was totally boring.
Yeah.
And then after the bomb goes off, they made it a point to pan by him, and there's like a little bit of blood on the side of his face. I'm like, what are you doing? Are you trying to set up fucking Two-Face? No. He's not scarred. It's just a little bit of blood.
Don't worry, there'll never be a sequel to
I know,
this movie.
it's never going to pan out. And there's another thing people are thinking is a connection that's never going to pan out. So the bomb goes off. Arthur escapes. Some Joker fanboys help him escape. He finds Lee. We find out before she lied. She's a psych student, but she also says she's pregnant from the one banging in the solitary room. And when he confronts her, she's like, no, I'm out. I was into Joker, not Arthur. Sorry. And she starts singing. And even who says stop singing? One of them goes, I don't want to sing anymore. I did like that they met on the same stairs from the first movie. So he gets captured, returned to Arkham, and then there's this inmate that you've seen kind of throughout the movie, kind of looking at him. He doesn't have a name. He's just called Young Inmate. They tell Arthur he has a visitor. He walks out. The guy follows him. He's like, you want to hear a joke? The joke ends with, you get what you fucking deserve, which is what he said to Arthur Murray when he shot him. And this guy stabs Arthur in the stomach several times. He collapses. He's bleeding out. And apparently in the background, out of focus, you see this guy take that knife and cut.
No, he's cutting his face open.
It's cut what is known a Glasgow smile, leading a lot of people to speculate, oh, is this Heath Ledger's Joker? No, it's not. I don't know why he did this with the Harvey Dent and this bit with the Glasgow smile. That article I read, I did find out that ending of the movie where the guy cuts his face was supposed to be in the original movie and featured Joaquin Phoenix's Joker carving his face in front of a crowd of his supporters, cutting a smile. But at that point, Christopher Nolan was still friends with Warner Brothers, and he killed that idea. He thought that only his Joker should carve his face. But Christopher Nolan no longer with Warner Brothers, so they threw it back in. Nobody said shit. Again, nobody said shit gave him any notes on this movie. He got to do the movie he wanted to do. So doesn't that ending undo everything? I don't know. So he was never the Joker. He's not the Joker.
I don't know. I just really feel like this is very sloppy.
What the fuck?
And yeah, not inspiring at all. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I think, the first movie is still fun to watch on its own.
Yes.
But if you watch this movie and then watch the next one, it almost takes away from all the work he did in that first movie to build this character.
Yep.
To just completely tear him down. And not even tear him down in a way that's interesting. It's just a boring movie. And he's pathetic.
He just chooses not to be the Joker.
Right. Yeah, he just is.
Or he can't summon it anymore.
Right. And whereas the first movie was it's this character that's been overlooked, has gone through a lot in his childhood, has the only way he's been able to deal with it is he's this descent into madness, and he's finally let go of everything, and he's crazy, and he's embracing chaos, and he's inspired people because Gotham was in a shit place, and now he's just back to normal.
Yeah.
And then by the end, all these events make him realize that there is no Joker. What? I don't understand the arc there.
No.
The reality of what would happen is that he gets thrown in jail after committing these murders, but then he still knows that the outside world is fucking loving him, and you got disciples.
He'd be running that jail, right? You would think he'd be running the jail.
People in jail would probably be all up in his shit too. And he's got the TV movie. He probably would have remained somewhat. He wouldn't have just sunk back into that Arthur character to be this meek individual again. I don't think he would have.
But this is intentional on Todd. This is what Todd Phillips thought.
It feels like it doesn't feel natural. That's all. He just all of a sudden,
it doesn't feel like the normal progression of this character, let alone the fact that you're slapping the Joker lipstick on it. That's not at all the Joker. So you've got two things going against it. But hey, Todd Phillips took a big swing. This is what he wanted to do, apparently. and it's just not a very enjoyable movie experience.
No, it's boring.
Look, you can say that there's like a conspiracy theory that there's a bunch of people that are against this movie, but at the end of the day, you make a movie that is not really going to win anyone over. Like if you're a romance fan or a Joker fan or a Scorsese fan, whoever, or a fucking
musical fan,
an Anthony fucking
Roman
Polanski going in there. Roman Polanski going in there, you're not really winning anyone over. No. So you can't blame this on toxic fandom. I think that's what happens when a movie is bad. They blame toxic fandom or the fanboys, like the nerd boys. Like that's not the Joker that I love. And that's like the weakest straw man. Like nobody likes this movie. Like nobody really like. There's gonna be some fart sniffers, some nose bowlers that like to smell their own shit, are gonna try and like defend this movie, but I don't think anybody in the theater that I was in got out of that movie thinking, wow, that was awesome. No, they were like, I guess it was all right. You know, I guess it was okay. That was it. Like that, you shouldn't go for, that's mediocre at best.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the song choice. These are a lot of like songs from the 50s, 60s, 70s, older songs, like When the Saints Go Marching In. I was excited about the musical parts, but they kind of let me down. Was there any one of them?
You got a song list, Imran?
I do. So we have What the World Needs Now. Burt Bacharach is Love. Will the Circle Be Unbroken? I don't know that one. When the Saints Go Marching In, repeatedly they kept saying that. That's Life. That's a great song.
Sinatra's always good.
Get Happy. I've Got the World on a String. That's Entertainment. That's from a musical. If My Friends Could See Me Now. When You're Smiling. You know what they didn't put in here is the fucking Joker from, what's that band? I'm a Joker, I'm a poker, I'm a midnight toad. That should have been in here. For Once in My Life, To Love Somebody, They Long to Be Close to You, another Burt Bacharach, Gonna Build a Mountain, Dancing in the Moonlight, If You Go Away, My Life by Billy Joel was in there. I don't remember that. We Three, My Echo, My Shadow, and Me. That kind of reiterates the opening animated thing. Fly Me to the Moon. And then there's a song called Folie, Adieu by Lady Gaga.
How many songs is that?
Did
you ask the question earlier, you son 11, of a bitch?
12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. That's about 20. That's a lot of songs.
Wow.
I thought it was too many. At one point, it was like every 5 minutes, somebody started singing a fucking song. I was like,
they should have kept it under 10.
This is too much.
Sure.
They shouldn't even have done the movie. That's the takeaway I have. Is there wasn't actually a good script here.
Yeah.
So it's as if they're putting lipstick on a pig. There actually
really feel
isn't
bad
any
for
meat
Lady
to this.
Gaga. Because
She's good in it.
At least Joaquin Phoenix has got some wins.
Yeah.
But every movie that Lady Gaga's in, except for that one with
The Star Is Born, is their only
Star
big
Is Born
hit.
has been fucking shit.
Look, I thought she was good. She didn't have a lot to do, but she was good. She sings better than Joaquin. I know he was Johnny Cash in that movie, but I didn't care for his singing.
I mean, she manipulates him. Yeah. She's a cunning character. Yeah. Like it's good. But yeah, I mean, there just really isn't. There actually isn't. The problem with this movie is there actually isn't an interesting story to tell.
No.
So there's all this fluff and the songs and great sets and really well shot, but at the end of the day, there's not actually a story here that's riveting.
Yeah, it's like you tell this epic story, and then what happens? He goes home and has a sandwich.
Yeah,
like it's like the most mundane ending.
Even the dialogue, like you don't learn anything.
No, it doesn't really add anything to anything.
The dialogue isn't interesting. Again, the courtroom drama, a good courtroom drama is like you find out things throughout the courtroom drama and
something's revealed. Yeah,
exactly. It's more escalated or somewhat, the courtroom drama in this is just rehashing what we already saw.
I know they keep going back to the first movie. We know he killed all these people.
Right.
I don't need to keep hearing about
I guess the mystery was because coming out of the first movie, one of the mysteries was this all in his head or did it really happen? Yeah. Well, clearly, by doing this courtroom drama, you take away the mystery of that.
Yeah,
everything happened.
Yep.
So now you've actually taken away a discussion point from the first movie that was interesting.
Oh my god! I thought the Joker was gonna twist all his words and find some way to get out on a loophole.
I thought at least he was going to do the thing where he throws the acid in Dent's face
or gas
something.
the audience, maybe with some Smilex or some shit. something.
Well, I was just relying on the Joker product, like the Joker acolytes out there that were going
Right,
to fucking
like
do
who
something.
set off the car bomb? So that was his
Well, then
Joker
he runs
fans.
away from them. That's even.
Yeah,
When they get him, I'm like, oh shit, he's
with his
gonna
people.
embrace it again. Yeah, and then he like runs away. It just
Yeah, it don't make any
it's
sense.
not a good Joker film.
It's not even a joke. It's not Joker. He was never the fucking Joker. That's the joke. I don't know what the joke is. I don't get it. Maybe that's the joke. If the first movie was the setup to a joke, this is the
I really think
punchline.
what he's going for is that the Joker thing is a virus and that gets passed along.
Yeah.
But that's not even done. In my opinion, there's many more ways to tell
Yes,
that kind of
better.
story more interesting
Yeah, it's not.
than the way it's told here.
No, it's barely implied. It's a throwaway. It's afterthought.
So the Red Hood is
Right.
is something that gets passed to person to person.
I was thinking about the Red Hood and that origin from Killing Joke and how fucking brilliant that is. And the first movie kind of starts like that, a failed stand-up comic, and then he's got to take a job from the mob to make some money, and things go bad, and then he gets fucking pushed in the acid. It's fucking great. You know what else I kept thinking? You know what's a better movie about two psychotics falling in love and embracing the madness? As I kept thinking of Natural Born Killers. Like, this is like Natural Born Killers on Valium, like a really boring version. But that movie and it has great music.
Back in the 90s when they made movies because they fucking wanted to make them and fuck everybody.
We should review that at some point. Anthony, have you ever seen Natural Born Killers?
I have not.
Oh my God, I would be so curious to see what you think about that movie now. It was controversial when it came out. It's awesome.
Yeah,
movie.
but they let Weinstein was like fucking make it.
Yeah.
He had balls.
Well, but that's what Warner Brothers.
What he's doing with his balls, I don't
This is
know.
what Warner Brothers did with Todd Phillips. They were like, "You make your fucking movie. We can do whatever you want." And this is what he fucking gives him. And he's their guy. Like, he's a Warner Brothers guy. So and the article
That's the thing. I mean, right? Is sometimes you want at the end of the day you want the directors to make the movies they want to make. So it's good that he made the movie that he wanted to make. It's just not that good.
There's a movie called Funny Games.
Oh, that is a great movie.
And he tried to make a Funny Games with the Joker.
Oh, you think so?
The Funny Games is a movie where every time that the people have a chance to escape something, like they do the opposite thing that they should do.
Yeah.
And so it just frustrates you to the point of like you want to just throw your shoe at the movie.
Yeah, that's how I felt about this movie.
And this was like a watered down version of that.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Does this put more pressure on James Gunn's Superman? Because since the Batman came out in March 22, these are the movies DC has
the
out.
stench of failure on it now.
Yeah, this is not a DC Studios movie, but they put out Black Adam, Shazam 2, The Flash, Aquaman 2, and Blue Beetle. And now that's what people are associating, even though this is not even an Elseworlds, it's not a DC movie.
So you have a long run of shitty movies.
Yes. James Gunn has a lot, his work cut out for him with this Superman movie. Anthony, do you think this will tarnish the brand, or people they don't care?
I mean, DC's done enough to tarnish their brand.
Have.
I think here's the thing about the brand and all that stuff. It can get redeemed as long as you make a good film.
Right.
I'm going to say one thing. Whereas Marvel is a more cohesive brand, DC never was.
Right.
No.
And so people don't really associate the DC universe.
That's true.
Like every film is an individual thing. So any film has the potential to be good. Like I think that, yes, there's a negative connotation to DC movies now. They've been shitty, but I think if all of a sudden there's another Batman Matt Reeves movie, that could make serious bank. Like it could, because it's not just about it's not about the universe or the brand being associated with the universe. People see them more as individual films.
Plus, you got the Penguin out now that is getting a lot of eyeballs and great reviews. I think it's interesting.
I do find it shocking that there's no mention of Batman at all.
You know what else is interesting anecdotally at work? Nobody knew about this movie. Nobody, and people were confused. They thought it was part of the Penguin and the Batman movie universe. They didn't know this movie was even coming out.
No, but that's why when you said it had a lot of hype, I was like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, I guess it didn't have a lot of hype. Now that I think about the casual.
Here's another thing that's a little odd too, and Ruggs mentioned this earlier, or just now. with the no Batman mention, but the timing is all off too. Like Joaquin Phoenix is what, 50 years old probably?
Sure.
Harvey Dent in this movie is probably a 25,
Yeah, he's
maybe
really young.
late 20s, early 30s.
Yeah.
And the Bruce Wayne we met in the first movie was a child.
Which was 2 years ago. It's supposed to be like 1983, I guess, is the year.
Even if you were to try to incorporate Batman, I mean,
20
by the
years
time
from
Batman's
now.
an adult, you'd be dealing with fucking a 75-year-old Joker. I mean, you're doing like the whole Jack Nicholson thing.
Yeah, that's a good point. No, but
I mean, just the timing is weird. Like Harvey Dent is supposed to be Batman's contemporary. Now he's not supposed to be 20 years older than the guy.
Well, Bruce Wayne is like 8. Yeah,
right.
Don't make any
so
sense.
None of it makes any sense when you try to think about. You can tell Phillips was just trying to make
I don't know why
his own spin on it, but there's no real like. There's no long term thought on it.
Absolutely not.
Even that's why this movie even exists. The way it does is because there wasn't actually a plan to make a second movie.
I kind of think that this was done by design to not be the Joker.
Yeah.
Like this is the end of the movie series.
Yeah, he's not making another one.
This was designed to not be the Joker. This was designed to be the impetus for the Joker, or like but it was too big.
Yeah.
Like if you're at the point where you're making a TV movie and you have all these fucking acolytes and all these fucking people that are like Joker fans out there mobbing in the streets.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a thing that people just forget about. Like, John Wayne Gacy, people still fucking know about him.
Yeah.
And fucking all the Ted Bundy and all those other fucking serial killers. People know about them. It's like, you're not going to forget about it. And so for another Joker to come out of there, it's just going to feel like, in that universe, it's going to feel like kind of a weak sauce, if you ask me.
Yeah, him trying to set up Two-Face and the cutting his face. I'm like, what are you doing?
You got this. That's the Heath Ledger Joker in jail now.
Is it?
But like even he's like in his 20s.
Yeah, and maybe it's not, because even remember the stories, he had all different origins. Is this one of those that is just imagined? Like it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't carry into any other Batman. It doesn't work in any other. This particular Batman universe does not work. There's nothing that actually makes sense when you play it out.
I've never seen a movie troll an audience harder than this. This is just.
You think they're trolling in the audience?
I feel like he was trolling the audience.
I feel like he thought he was smarter than the audience, and he's not.
And I was like, "Am I too dumb to get this joke? I don't get this. This is dumb."
I don't think he was going for trolling. I think he was just trying to make a indie type movie.
He was trying to
an artsy fartsy movie. And it just didn't work.
Yeah.
He was trying to offset your expectations.
He's the analogy I made earlier. He aced the test the first time, but he cheated.
Yeah,
because he copied another movie.
Yeah,
and then he thought, "Wow, I'm awesome. I can do anything now.
I'm smarty pants.
I'm actually this smart."
Yeah,
you're not.
And
he wasn't. And
I feel like I feel sad because I feel like Joaquin and Lady Gaga tried.
Yeah.
Their best to do what they were given. They went for it, and a lot of talented people were working on this movie. And there are some scenes that are very well shot, and there is a lot of. But I feel bad in a way that this movie.
I mean, I loved Brendan Gleeson as the guard, Jackie Sullivan. Like, he was great.
The guards don't even get their comeuppance. Like, there's nothing.
No, they don't.
There.
They get away with everything. They get away with fucking torturing him and tormenting him. There's nothing there. All right, let's wrap it up. Anthony, final thoughts. Rate it, rank it
rank it with what?
The two Joker movies.
I mean, you know where that's going to fall.
Yeah.
Final thought. I mean, I read the Phillips's for the future, and he said he didn't want to do anything anymore after this. That there was a 2-movie run. It's clear to me the first movie was lightning in a bottle for this guy. There were no plans to do a second. He decided to do a second and wanted to leave no doubt that you can't make a third movie. So he did that.
Yeah.
And I hate the ending. I thought the rest of the movie was really boring and uninspired. Very unfocused. Yeah, I can genuinely say I did not like this movie. I mean, there's things to latch onto that you can say this was good, this is good. But overall, I don't think this is not an enjoyable experience. This is something I will probably never revisit. 4 out of 10.
All right. Sounds about right, Ruggs. What say you?
I'm not as down on it as that. I do think that it went in the wrong direction. It could have pulled itself out. There was glimmers of it being great, but ultimately, yes, you're going to leave the theater and not feel like this was the movie you wanted to see. And that's fine. Like, they could be like, well, fuck you. This is the movie we made. But yeah, when someone tells you fuck you, you don't feel good. So that doesn't mean you have to like the movie. I'm going to give it a 5 because it is a film.
It's a movie.
It does have some merit to it.
Yeah. And
you can say, okay, this is about Arthur coming to terms with that Joker thing was like a thing that he can't sustain, and he has remorse and he just wants it to be over. And that's a human thing that does happen sometimes, but I don't think it makes a good movie. So that's what you have there.
I mean, they're interesting, just sections, just scenes, like that whole thing where she draws the lipstick on the glass and it goes out of focus and he smiles into it. It's a fucking beautiful shot. The shot where he's smoking under the one spotlight, beautiful cinematography, but he did not tie all this together. There's also scenes in the trailer, I just realized, where he's dancing with Lady Gaga on the stairs, and like that's not in the movie at all. So I don't know what happened to that, but it's slow, it's frustrating, it's a mess. The first one I enjoyed way better. I'm also at a 5. It's a movie. That's the thing. It looks good. It's made well. If you turn the sound off,
it's got good acting.
It's got good acting. It's got good.
So it's got a lot of it's got a lot of the things. You're not gonna watch this and go, oh, this is like poorly made film.
No, it's not poorly made.
It's just a poorly written film.
Yes, it's well shot. It's well lit. All the pieces together.
And the dialogue isn't even bad.
Yeah.
It's just the story in and of itself.
Yes.
Like how it plays out.
Yes.
It's
unfocused. It doesn't fit. It doesn't connect.
It's like, okay, let's just take the Black Cat story from Spider-Man and throw a courtroom drama in there.
Oh, yeah, a little bit.
So
no, but it doesn't do anything it's trying to do well. A prison drama, a romance, a courtroom drama, a musical. I was really surprised that even I, who love fucking musicals, walked away going, that did.
I feel like if this is the Joker story that I would try and tell like a child.
Maybe.
So the kid's like, oh, the Joker owned up to his mistakes and everything.
There's a lesson at the end.
Yeah.
Going to be a Joker.